Hey guys, welcome to a new episode in the Reveal series of Bespoke in the Burbs. Today, I want to walk you through a couple of really cool rooms. The mudroom is such an important space. It's the transition into the house from the garage or the side door. In this case, it's from the garage. This is where you come in, drop your coats, have a place for your shoes, your cell phone, keys, all those things like tape and batteries and things like that. They've got a place to go. The mudroom is an ideal space. So you got to design it to accommodate all those elements. Now, looking at this mudroom, it wasn't a big space. So I chose to create a paneling and cabinetry on both sides. So we've got cabinetry along one side, some cabinetry and paneling along the other side. Now, when you look at the material that was used, I ended up going with a TFL product, which is a thermally fused laminate product from Tefisa. And I love the product because it looks like real wood, but it has all the durability of laminate, and it comes in different colors as well. So we've got a wood grain combined with a matte finish that's a solid color. I played with those two elements to create some interest in this space. So let's talk about how we did it. Well, I used the wood grain for all the column elements, all the paneling, and all the accent elements throughout the space, but all the doors and the back panels are all a solid color. You'll see them inset here, and on the opposite wall you'll see them actually layered. So the back panel is a solid color, then it's layered with strips on top that is a wood grain product. We've got millwork all the way along here, so I built boxes, put the doors on, create a lot of storage. So we've got tall storage for elements such as the central vac, a cleaning closet for all the utilities with regards to cleaning, whether it's a broom or cleaning products. And then here you've got a set-in area with a countertop space. This countertop has a sintered stone product on top. In this case, it's a Decton product. I love the color, and it's all about the blending of the finishes and the tones and the colors here. We've got two receptacle outlets that have integrated USB ports in them. This is where you would drop your cell phone off, your iPad, any of your products that need charging. This is a great place for them to be. Car keys as well are kept here. We've got a bank of drawers here beneath this area. This is, again, that area where you would put components like batteries, tape, anything that you need regular access to that often usually ends up in the kitchen. This is the place for that. Lots of storage above. So you'll see storage here that's easily accessible. Then you get off-season storage right up here. These are touch latch doors and they open up and you can have off-season storage, capitalizing on that 10-foot height of the ceilings. We've got integrated lighting, the Hayfala Lux 5 lighting. I love this stuff. So we've got the channels built in and they light up. Actually, when you walk in here, going back to the systems that we used the Lutron Radio Raw system. And this is one of the beauties about the system. You can add components. So when we look at the ceiling, we've got a motion sensor. And as you walk into this space, it activates the switch on the wall automatically, so you don't have to interact with anything. And it actually activates the receptacle that powers these as well. So when you walk in, all the lighting goes on in here, and as you leave and there's no motion, it goes off. And that's just a thought in the sense that, you know what, the house has to work for you and you're not necessarily working to make it happen. So on this side, we've got some shelving. That's open shelving for shoe storage. I toyed with the idea of putting doors on it, closing it, hiding it. None of it made sense. I thought simplicity is the way to go. Simple shelving, again, that solid color backing on there with the wood grain shelves, and lots of space for storage here, whether it's things like these riding helmets or shoes below. It's just great use of space. Below, you've got three cubby holes. One houses the dog dish, the water dish and the food dish for the dog. The middle one is actually a parking garage for my robotic vacuum. So you've got the iRobot vacuum that's on the right side, you've got the iRobot mopper on the left side. They do their thing. Once they're done, they come back in here and park themselves where they belong. Going back to this side, one of the things I wanted to point out is I chose to take one of these drawers, and instead of having a solid drawer front on it, I had a cutout done, so I did this in my own shop. Edge banded it, made access into this drawer, put a cushion in here, and this now becomes a bed for Bella, our dog. And it's great because she sleeps in here at nights. We close the door, we don't have to worry about her roaming in the house. And she loves it in here, it's her space. and it's easy to access this space to clean it out, take the cushion out and keep it clean. And in the event we no longer need this, I've got an extra drawer front that's like this one. This one comes off, the other one goes on, and then it functions as a drawer. The flooring below you'll see is porcelain tiles end to end. So when you look at this whole area here, you've got very durable cabinetry sitting on an extremely durable floor. The bottom edge is caulked with silicone, so if there's any spills, or even if Bella has an accident, doesn't matter. It's easy to clean up. That, to me, makes a very functional and beautiful mudroom space. Let's move on from here because there's some exciting stuff behind me as we go into the garage. As we come out of the mudroom, we step onto this landing. It's an intermediate space. The reason I say that is because when you land on here, you got two choices. Either go right to the garage or go left through these doors behind me. We'll get onto that in a second. This has turned out to be a great space. I love this. It houses my toolbox. I've got some high storage. There's a lot of accessories here. Let's go through all that. Let's start with that high storage. High ceilings means a lot of space that you can capitalize on at the top. So I've chosen to put a tire rack there. Great place for it, out of the way. You access that once a year, get your snow tires down, put them back up, that's it. You get a ladder, it's easy to do. This has turned out to be the perfect spot for this toolbox. Easy access to everything I need, whether I'm working in the garage or whether I'm coming out of the house to grab something. This is a great place for this toolbox. All my tools right at hand. You'll notice that the floor is all tiled, and it tiles right down to the garage floor. This tile is a large format porcelain tile. It's repeated again throughout the garage, and we'll get onto that as well as we walk through. Comes up as a baseboard, nice Schluter cap molding on top. The stair treads have a rubber edge on them, makes them slip proof, so that sets the nice foundation here. The lighting, automated as it is everywhere else, so as you walk out, Lutron motion sensor picks up the motion, turns on this light, so you don't have to interact with anything. We also have the Lutron Radio Raw keypad, and that is because as you walk out, you can simply hit away, or as you walk in, you can hit home, and all the lights will turn on as you set them or in the predefined settings. We've got a heater in here. The thermostat for the heater is up here. That's Stelpro heater. It has a thermostat here. It operates that heater and keeps this garage above zero all year long. So I don't need it warmed up. Mind you, if I do want it warm because I'm working in here, I can just set the temperature a little higher. It takes a few minutes and it warms up. But what's most important to me is that nothing freezes in here. All the chemicals I have in the closet, some of the things I have in the back for washing the car and stuff, we don't want any of that to freeze. This keeps it above zero and everything is maintained well. So let's talk about the room behind me. Let's walk through those doors and see why this garage is so clean, because a lot of the stuff you normally have cluttering this space is back here. So as you walk through here, off this landing on the same level, we've got this room. And this room really houses all those elements that would normally create clutter in a garage, preventing you from making a beautiful space. So everything from bicycle, gardening tools, you name it, housed in here. Now, how does it all work? When you look on the floor, we've got a gorgeous epoxy floor that's got a broadcast sand surface. So they broadcast sand onto it. They put the epoxy base coat down, broadcast sand onto it. And they've done a fantastic job here because it gives you the durability, but also gives you texture, so it's a non-slip floor. Then the walls are insulated and vapor braided as any exterior walls would be, but instead of drywall, I went with the gear wall system from Gladiator, and I clad all the walls with Gladiator gear wall panels. So they're two 12-inch by 8-foot panels, strips that lock in together with a tongue and groove system, screwed in with color match screws from floor to ceiling. The floor is finished with their baseboard system, which is a beautiful gray that blended well with the flooring here, so I use that. Again, creating a waterproof environment that I can just take a mop this floor up and clean it up. Then we look at all the accessories that you can put on this wall. So all the hooks, all the shelves, are all extreme duty. So you can hang heavy things like these tables that fold out. You've got accessories like these baskets that are fantastic for the kids' toys and things. Lots of shelves to be able to put things on. And one of my favorites is their claw for their bicycle holder. Such an easy element, such a beautiful design. You roll the bicycle up, clip it into the claw, it grabs onto the bicycle wheel and it hangs off the wall. The kids come here, grab them, pull them out easily. They don't need anybody's help. So it's so easy to use. On this side, I've kind of got my automotive center. So I've got this rollout that is all the cleaning products for, cleaning your car, detailing it. So all the tools are in here, all the brushes are here, and it rolls out. I can carry it down there. I can just simply grab what I want. Some of my foaming guns are here. Battery chargers are there for my gardening tools. And then anything related to automotive, the pan for changing oil, all that's here at hand, and it all has a place. Got a couple of receptacles that power some of those things. And as we go around, you'll see there's some additional things, hooks and things where you got gardening tools hanging around. So this, as well as this garbage center, creates a scenario where I can take that garage space and make it look spectacular. So are you ready for this? Let's go have a look. I love the way this garage has turned out. It looks spectacular. Now, when you step back into this intermediate area, you can choose to go down into the garage. Before we do that, let's talk about a couple of things here. We've got our garage door openers here. We've got another control here that is a digital control. It's a Kohler DTV valve that supplies hot and cold water into this garage, and I'll show you where that water comes out in a second. You'll notice that porcelain tile goes down these stairs, as we said, but it also transitions onto this wall tile. So over here, it's a baseboard, but because you drop down, it carries the same height. It comes almost a 30-inch skirt that carries around the garage and even underneath the cabinetry, keeping everything waterproof. We got that same texture rock epoxy flooring on the ground, and that looks spectacular as well. So another sensor right here, another Lutron motion sensor. As you drive into the garage, all those secondary lights light up and light your way so you can safely get into the house. Tons of cabinetry. I love how this stuff has turned out. This surface is a Phoenix material. Phoenix is a brilliant product. I love the way it looks, but I love even more the way it functions. It's matte finish. It's nice to the touch, but it's extremely durable. So use that on all the facade of the cabinetry. I even use the Phoenix material on the countertop. It's a different look, different texture. It's got a speckled metallic finish to it. It looks brilliant on this countertop. What I love about the Phoenix material, if you get micro abrasions from day-to-day use, you just put a damp towel down, take a hot iron to it, and all those micro abrasions disappear. So it's almost a self-healing product. It's fantastic. On the inside of the cabinets, it's all about functionality. I put a Formica laminate on the inside. And the reason for that is because it's magnetic. So now I can take accessories like this fire extinguisher with a magnet on the back as a mount, and it actually sticks to the door. By the way, this is a brilliant fire extinguisher. It's called the Element, and it doesn't have a discharge, so it doesn't blow everything all over the place. So you take the end off, spark it, push it towards the fire. It has a discharge or a mist that comes out and puts out the fire instantly. Brilliant. Great for places like the garage or in the back of a car. All my storage is in here. We've got a compressor down there, and a compressor is something I always like to have in the garage. Whether it's for working on cars, filling the tires on bicycles or cars, or cleaning a car. So you get a little spray nozzle on the end, getting inside all the vents and stuff and cleaning it. This is great. We've got a retractable hose here as well. That gets turned on, compresses pretty quickly, and then you pull the hose and it'll reach all the way out to the garage. Additional storage up top. All the drivers for all the LED lighting is in the top cabinet. You want those accessible, and I've done that here. I've placed them all at the upper cabinet. All at the top are all the drivers. Everything's wired in nicely, and if there's ever a problem, it's easy to get to. So let's talk about lighting here. We've got layers of lighting. So we've got that indirect lighting behind some panels on the walls, and I'll show you those in a second. But then we've got overhead lighting where I searched high and low, but I finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna create my own lighting. So I used the Hayfla aluminum channels, put some Hayfla Lux 5 LEDs, the high output ones, so they're really bright. I did it in a T format there. It looks very custom.
and it gives a lot of light. I love the way it turned out. Now on these upper cabinets, on the underside of them, I've embedded a channel in here. It uses the same LEDs for task lighting for this countertop. So the lighting is perfect. It's in the layers that I want, so you can turn on just a little bit or turn it all on and have a great workspace. This center area has proven to be invaluable. Lots of storage space all the way around. We've got drawers in here that house all kinds of accessories. So we've got dividers set in here. You can customize these any way that you want. On the back wall, we've got the Gladiator gear wall again. Now it only comes in 2 colors. Wasn't the right color for me for this application, so I thought, hey, I'm gonna paint it. Sanded it lightly, got some lawn furniture paint that really adheres to that plastic material well, and I sprayed it this bronze color that blends in nicely. Now I've got it looking good, and I've got the flexibility of being able to put all these accessories on here that I want. So the paper holders here, on that side I've got some bins. I can change it up as I need, and that's what I love about this. It's the flexibility of it. In the middle we've got a television. I mean, I don't watch movies out here, but it's great to be able to bring up a YouTube video if you're doing something and you want to get some information and follow some instructions. This is where you want that access. We've got a couple of Sonos Play 1 speakers on the outside, so we've got great audio in here. And then I've got the access point here, which gives you really strong Wi-Fi in the garage. It's always lacking in a lot of homes. So that Unify system with access points all over the house gives me really strong network signals from the garage to the backyard to all the levels in the house. So this area has turned out beautifully. And then lastly, I want to talk about this cabinet here before we move on. You'll notice inside here, we've got a retractable hose. And this retractable hose is what gets activated when you turn on that Kohler DTV valve, call for water, depending on the temperature you select. It comes out of that Aqua hydrant on the side here, which again, I love those Aqua hydrants. They're brilliant. I've got one in the backyard. I put one in here, and it's plugged into there. It sits there all the time. When I want water, pull that hose out, use it, and then retract it, turn it off, and it's out of the way. You don't see any of this stuff, so it keeps this garage looking pristine and clean. These cabinets are all elevated off the ground. Again, we've got that porcelain tile at the bottom because you don't want to expose this to excess water and potentially get damage over time. So this makes it really easy to clean underneath there and all around the garage. Let's talk about the panels on the sidewalls. So I wanted to do something interesting on these 2 sidewalls, and I wanted it to still be elegant but give an automotive feel. So I decided to do these panels that run along. They're about 4 feet high, and they've got lighting in the back. They were a bit of a challenge. It was a learning curve, and I had to kind of experiment with it and make it work right, but we finally got it, and it looks spectacular. So we've got some MDF panels here. We've got a bit of trim at the top and bottom that's painted dark, and then we've got indirect LED lighting. As you drive in, those turn on and kind of light your way and not blind you. It's really nice to have that indirect lighting. On top of that MDF, we installed a 3M Dynoc film. This stuff is brilliant, and I love working with it. This one is a bit of a metallic carbon fiber feel. So it gives it that automotive feel, but still maintains that level of elegance that I wanted in here. We broke it up into 3 sections so that it's easy to install. We don't have any joints in the substrate because it shows up some of those joints. So when you put that film on, if the substrate is not perfect, some of those joints and some of that filler shows through. So in order to avoid that, I decided, you know what, we're gonna put MDF panels. Put as few nail holes and things so we don't have to fix anything. We actually glued them into place, left the joints exposed, wrapped the film into the center so it becomes a feature and actually looks good. We've got 3 panels. We've got a receptacle set in that are color matched on this side. On the other side, we've got receptacles set in for regular work and also a 20-amp receptacle in the event that I want to put a car lift. So these really highlight and set the mood in here, and as you go around, we've got this little alcove here. This alcove kind of happened in the layout and the design of the space, and I thought, why don't I take advantage of this? This is a great place for the central back unit. I'm going to put some Gladiator gear wall in the back, throw some shelves in. What a great place for my jack, some jack stands, and then put a basket down here for a garage hose. So I don't want to drag out the hose from inside the house and damage it. Got a dedicated garage hose. It's plastic, it's easy to clean, and that reaches all the way to the garage if you're wanting to work on a vehicle or clean it out there. And that gladiator wall gives me the flexibility I want. There is an accessible panel down there, so I cut out a piece of that gladiator gear wall. There is a reason for that. I want access to that space because I put a conduit from the electrical panel into the garage, and that's where it comes. And that is in the event that the day comes that myself or someone else gets an electric vehicle and wants to put an electric charging station. Well, that is there now, and you can easily run a wire to this space and put that in. So the overall layout of this garage has turned out just fantastic. I'm so thrilled. And that's partly due to the foundational work that happened right at the beginning. I made sure that I had high ceiling space in here. I made sure that bulkheads were done such that I could, in the future, if I wanted to put a lift, I have that added height to take that car all the way up to the top. We used jack shaft garage door openers, which mount on the side of the garage doors, and there's no center rail. So if you wanted to move a car up on a lift, you can easily do that. I had the garage guys actually install these rails with extensions so the rails go higher and the garage door opens higher when it opens. So these are things that you want to plan ahead for in the event that you want to set the space for being able to put a lift in or anything like that. Those jack shaft garage door openers, I love using them. If I can use them on every project, I would. We wired everything into the walls. So even the sensors at the bottom, all the wires are in the walls. You don't want to see any wires on the surface. Everything to those garage door openings is waterproofed. So around that opening, it's all plastic J-mold, so no water ever gets to the drywall that's behind the tile. So you gotta plan ahead a little bit for all these little details so that this garage not only looks good now, but it'll look the same 10 years from now. And that's what it's all about. It's the functionality, but the durability of the space. I love the way it's turned out. It looks spectacular. I love keeping it clean like this all the time, and washing it out is a breeze, especially with that hot and cold water that's available out here. And then lastly, right over top of my head, you're gonna see even more storage, and again, that added height gives you the opportunity for that. We've got the cabinetry that doesn't quite go to the ceiling, but offers us the opportunity to put some bins up there, some more tires. Right in the middle, you'll see that Stelpro heater that really functions well. And then behind that, we've got our TOC camera, which monitors everything in this garage in case somebody breaks in. Gotta have that security. I hope you've enjoyed this tour. This has turned out to be a spectacular space that I just enjoy every time I walk through it. Can't wait to show you more. I'll see you on the next one.